decided to take a 48-hour trip to London using a budget airline. Here we go. I'm flying out of BWI Airport International Concourse E, and I'm flying Play Air. Play Air is a no-frills budget airline that services Europe with mandatory stops in Iceland. Like most other budget airlines, you have to pay for all carry-on bags and check bags, and the only free baggage option is a personal item. Their boarding process boarded from the back to the front, and I really liked it because it allowed passengers who were boarding from the back of the plane to board first to prevent that backup on the plane with people who were trying to get into their seats. There was, however, a very long walk from the boarding area to the ramp to the plane, and we waited on the ramp for a while before we were allowed to board the actual plane. Our plane took off at 6:40 p.m. from Baltimore, and we landed in Iceland at 4:55 a.m. In Iceland, they deplane from the tarmac, and they have a shuttle bus that takes you to the actual terminal. Our connecting flight to London boarded at 6:40 a.m. and we had to get on the shuttle again and go to the tarmac to load on to the plane, and it was freezing. We were in Iceland. When we arrived in London, we ended up having to deplane from the tarmac again and actually walk to the terminal. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this flight. My round-trip ticket cost $119.70, and taxes and fees were $267. All in, my round-trip flight was $417, and I did add trip protection. Though this is a no-frills budget airline, I did find the seats to be rather comfortable and have some amenities that are worth talking about. So it did have the little compartment where you could put your phone and or your tablet if you are watching movies, and it did have a cup holder here as well. So I found this feature to be really nice, and it was something that they said the seats wouldn't have, so it was a surprise when I got on. I also noticed that the tray table was really good. It is a tight squeeze because I am considered plus size, and so I did find that the tray table was a little tight. However, it did work and it was sturdy, which is not the case on some budget airlines. So I really did like that. And the seat back pocket is a mesh pocket, so you can see and you can tell if it is dirty or not, and it worked. There were some chargers, and they said that wouldn't be available, but there were chargers on 2 of my flights, and the armrest did go up and down and recline, and that was something that they said would not be available on this flight as well. In regard to refreshments, they had a pretty good refreshment selection. You know that they do not offer food, so there will be no drink service or no snack service on these flights. And this was the first flight was about 5.5 hours, and the second flight was about 2.5, so it was about a 9-hour flight. So having drinks and food is necessary. You can bring it with you, but you can only bring 1 bag from the airport, so keep that in mind, and your personal items. But you can order food, and I ended up ordering food on my flight back because we didn't have time to stop and get something from the airport. So I was able to get me a soda, a Twix, a piece of candy, and I got me a ham and cheese baguette, and I believe it came up to $12 because it was a bundle. So that's something to keep in mind. Buy food from the airport or bring food with you, because they do not serve food on this airline at all that you do not have to pay for. This is a view of the seat, and the seat also had the headrest, and so this was something that they said would not be on the airplane, but it was, and it does move, and it kind of goes up on both sides. The seat is fairly comfortable. It's not as cushiony, and I did notice that you don't have a lot of space underneath that seat, so keep that in mind when you have your personal item. All in all, I think this is a great option if you're traveling to Europe on a budget. I will absolutely be booking with Play Air. Again, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.